Hello everyone, so welcome to the course. Okay, so that is data build tool. So in this section, let's understand first what is DBT. Okay, so I have just opened the DBT website. Okay, and in the documentation, so let's understand what is this DBT is. Okay, so DBT, the full form is data build tool. Okay, it enables the analytics engineer to transform the data in their warehouse by simply writing the select statements. Okay, so DBT handles turning these select statements into the tables and views. So of course, like we have worked with the ELT, right? So that is extract, load, and transform. So basically DBT does T in ELT. Okay, so it will transform it. Okay, so it does not extract or load the data, but it's extremely good at transforming the data that's already loaded into your warehouses. Okay, so this is what the DBT is. Okay, so if I just show you. Okay, so we have a raw data, right? So before this you can just understand with this. Okay, so we have a data loaders. Okay, so the various sources you can see, like it could be any raw data. Okay, so this is source, and of course there will be some destination, whether it could be BI tools, or if I want to send the data to the ML models or any operational analytics, of course, right? So this could be a source and it could be in destination, right? So in between, right? So of course we need to transform the data, right? So which is required to our business, right? So all this develop, test, and document deployment. Okay, so all these things is performed by the DBT, that is a data build tool. Of course, the ELT has become a commonplace, okay, because of power of modern analytic databases, right? So data warehouses like Redshift, Snowflake, and the BigQuery are extremely performant and very scalable, such that at this point most data transformation use cases can be much more effectively handled in the database rather than in some external processing layer. So add to this the separation of the compute and the storage, and there are decreasingly few reasons to want to execute your data transformation job elsewhere, right? So that is why the DBT comes into picture. So DBT is a tool to help you write and execute the data transformation jobs, okay, that run inside your inside your workspace. Okay, so the warehouse, right? So DBT's only function is to take the code, compile it to the SQL, and then run against your database. Okay, so this is what. Okay, so it will take it, its only function is to take the code, compile it to the SQL, and then run against your database. So that's what you can see here even in the documentation, right? So it where it transform the data in their warehouses. Okay, so here also you can just say in the same image. Okay, so where in the different format. Okay, so we have a data loaders. Okay, so we have a end applications, could be B applications, or if you want to train the model like machine learning models or anything. Okay, so in between we have a DBT. Okay, so where for example the data would be in the data warehouses. It could be Snowflake, Redshift, or any other data warehouses. Okay, where we get a raw data. Okay, it can be transformed only with the select statements. Okay, it will only take the code and whatever the code you're writing, it will compile into SQL, right? And then run again your database. Okay, so this is what the DBT is. Okay, and so you can even say like DBT is basically a command line tool. Okay, so even it helps it enables the data analyst and engineers to transform the data in their warehouses, okay, more effectively. And today, like DBT is almost used worldwide. Okay, almost 850 companies using it in production. Okay, so this is all about the DBT. So let's explore more about this in the next video. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video, let's see how we can create an account in DBT Cloud. Okay, so if you get into this www.getdbt.com. Okay, so this is their official website. Okay, you can just click on to this starts free. Okay, so here you need to enter your work email address, first name, last name, company, password, and confirm the password, and directly click on to this create my account. Okay, so you'll get 14-day free trial. Okay, so from where you can just access this DBT. Okay, so and you'll get a confirmation mail. Okay, you need to click onto this and your account will be created. Okay, so already I have just created. Okay, you can see, so this is what the account is. Okay, so my account will be ending on this 3rd of sorry 2nd of March. Okay, that is 2022. Okay, so here so this is what the home page is. Okay, so for example, if I want to create a new project. Okay, so I'll be For example, I'll be getting into the account setting, so I'll create a new project, and I need to set up a new project. So for example, I'll begin with, okay, so I need to give the project name, demo project. Okay, so once I click onto the continue, so here I need to select, okay, what type of data warehouse I'll be selecting. So whether it's Snowflake, Apache Spark, Databricks, BigQuery, or Redshift, you can see these are the different options which is available. For example, if I go with the Postgres SQL, so here I need to give the host name, port name, database, okay, and the username and the password and default. Okay, so of course you know where from how to create it, right? So if I'm using the AWS, so I can create that is from the RDS, right? So I can create a standard database using Amazon Aurora. Here I can create a Amazon Aurora Postgres SQL compatible edition. I can so from here I'll be getting all these passwords, okay, username, okay, so I can just try to connect with this RDS, right? So this is how. So once I just enter all the details, my connection my database connection will be set up, right? So then I can just work on and can just perform all the operations here. But we'll be doing with the Snowflake, okay? So so with help of CLI, okay, so that I'll be starting with the next video. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in our previous video, we have just understood what is DBT, and we understood that DBT does the T in ELT process, right? So of course it does not extract or load the data. Okay, so let's try to install it. Okay, so so you can just get into this DBT CLI. Okay, so under the CLI option, okay, so we have a different option like how to install the DBT using the homebrew or pip command, or even we can use the Docker images. Okay, or you can just install from the sources, right? So if you are using the pip command, you can just get into this documentation and try to install it. Okay, so so let's get started. So what I'll do, I'll just open my Anaconda prompt. So in my Anaconda prompt right now, I am in the base, right? So let's create a environment. Okay, so we know how to create environment. So that is conda create, learn learn DBT, Python equal to 3.7. Okay, so it's asking for S. So you're extracting all the packages. So let's activate that. Okay, so or else you can just first check conda list env. Okay, it is conda env list. So basically I am just listing all the environments. You can see the star. Right now I'm in the base. Okay, so I have created an environment called learn dbt. Okay, so everything is set. So what I'll do first, let's activate that particular environment. So activate learn dbt. Okay, it got activated. Okay, so if you check, okay, so conda env list, so star is right now. Okay, we are in the learn abt. Okay, okay, so you can see right now we are in the learn dbt. Okay, so to install, okay, so dbt first, let's try to install pip. So we have single command, that is pip install dbt. You can see all the packages are being downloaded. So it's downloading. That's it. Yeah. So it got downloaded. Okay. If I want to check the version, so dbt underscore underscore version. So dbt uh, we just enter DBT. You cannot import the software or markup. If I just try to install this, so it's already satisfied. So pip install DBT should work. So DBT underscore version. Okay, so we are getting some errors. So I'll try to fix this and I'll just come back. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in a previous video we have created a DBT project, right? So we have created DBT project with help of DBT init and project name, right? So we have created a project. So even we have shown you the folders, right? So these are the different folders we have, right? So the project name is demo DBT and this is the required files to create the project. So more importantly, we'll discuss about the DBT project. Okay, if I try to open this DBT project, so here we need to configure this particular ML file. So here first we have a name. Okay, so you can see, so name your project name should contain only lowercase. Okay, so I'll just give here as demo dbt. Okay, so whatever the changes you're making here, okay, so same change you need to make it here also. Demo underscore dbt. Okay, so demo dbt, demo underscore dbt, fine. So and here yeah, so first we need to give the project name, that is I have given the project name as demo dbt and the version, and next is profile. Okay, so this setting configures which profile dbt use for this project. So here the name is default. Okay, so where you can find this profile, actually the profile is found under this learn dbt environment which we have created. Okay, so this is my path. Okay, in your systems it could be a different path, okay, depending upon your requirement, your environment. So I have a users. So inside the user I have Imran. Okay, so we have Anaconda. I'm using Anaconda Navigator, right? So I have Anaconda Navigator 3. Next we have environments. Okay, so I have created an environment called Learn DBT. So inside the library I have a site packages. Inside the site packages have a .dbt, then include, and inside this we have something called BigQuery. This is a profile, and inside it we have something called sample profiles. Okay, so if I just try to open this. Okay, so this is what the profile you can see. So here we have profile. Okay, so default this is the profile ML file. Okay, so we have this is what the default it is referring to. Okay, so whatever the default you are seeing here, profile as default. Okay, this is what the default it is referring to, and the output would be the two different targets here. So one would be a BigQuery. Okay, so this is an example outline. Okay, so if I want to connect with the BigQuery, this is what the necessary environment requirement which is required to connect with the BigQuery, right? So if I just change the target to the div, okay, it will move to the div. Okay, this is what the connection strings. And if I want to move to the prod, this is, if I just change the prod, it will move to this particular this. Okay, right now I will be using one. Okay, so what I'll do, so if I just try to see in the documentation, okay, so if I just get into this Snowflake profile, so this is what the profile look like. Okay, so dbt profiles ml. Okay, so if I just go here under the dbt, include Snowflake sample profiles. Okay, we have a sample profile for everything. Startup project. Inside the startup project, this is what the entire startup project is. uh, Okay, this is for the snowflake and this is for the sample profile. Fine. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just change this. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go to the documentation. This is what the profiles I need. I'll just copy this. I'll go here. I'll paste it. Okay. So here, so right now it is my snowflake DB. So right, so I'll just make this as snowflake. Okay, so here inside it, I'll just change the profile now to snowflake. Okay. So next, in the target, so right now I have here div. Okay, so output. Okay, so type is snowflake. Okay, so next is I need to give the account ID. So I have just logged into my snowflake. You can see this is my snowflake account. So this is my account ID is basically this from here to till my AWS. So I'll just give the account ID. So this is the username. So my username is, okay, so this is my username. So you can just access the username here. Okay, so this is my username. Password I'll just set, okay, once I end this video. So next I'll need to give the role. Okay, so role I'll just give the account admin. So role I'll just give account admin. So from where you can access that. So this is what the account admin. So you can see all the roles here, right? So of course in organization would have provided the different roles. So this is what the account admin have just given. So next I need to give the database name. So I have one database called learn DBT database. Okay. So learn DBT database. Give the names properly. Okay. So I'll give the database name. So next I have the warehouse. Okay. So for the warehouse, I'll just use this compute warehouse. So compute warehouse. WH. Okay. So then schema. So schema, I'll give so let's keep it public because in that we have a public. Okay, so let's go and just write the schema as public. Public public. Okay, so threads, so I can just give 10. Okay, and query tag, I'll just remove this. I'll just comment it out. Okay, fine. So I'll just save this file. I'll save even this. So I've just changed the profile here. You can see the profile is snowflake. Okay, so I'll just save this also. Okay, so I need to enter the password. Okay, so once I just enter the password, I'll just continue in the next video. Okay, fine. So I was getting some error like a markup error in the sense like I was getting like markup safe error. Okay, so I just tried to do a pip3 install a markup safe. After installing, so I'm just checking like DBT version. So DBT is already installed. Okay, so DBT underscore version. Okay, so once I check the DBT version, you can see this is what the versions we have. We have a big we have a 4 plugins. We have a BigQuery, Postgres, Redshift, and Snowflake. And when you check the documentation, okay, so this is very important. Okay, so if you just try to install like pip install the plugin like DBT Postgres, it will install only the DB Postgres, all the dependencies related to DBT Postgres. Okay, so so this is what. So for example, this is what is a standard adapter plugin. Okay, so pip install. So upgrade. DBT adapter. Okay, so if you have any specific adapter is all the plugins. Okay, so for example, if I try to install the pip install DBT core, okay, it will install all the core elements like DBT core, DBT Postgres, Redshift, okay, Snowflake, and the BigQuery. So if you can see, so why we're using the DBT core. So if you are building a tool that integrates with the DBT core, you want to install the core library alone, okay, without a database adapter. So if I don't want a database adapter, then I can go with the DBT core only. So then I can install pip install DBT core. Okay, so if you want to work with a certain adapter, you can just give pip install adapter name. Okay, so if you're just doing pip install DBT, if you're not doing anything, if you're just working, if you need all the adapters, okay, so and along with the database, just do pip install DBT. Okay, that's what I've just done here, right? If I just click, I've just entered here pip install DBT. You can see, so pip3 install DBT or pip install TB3. Okay, so I've installed all the necessary packages, okay, and the plugins. Okay, if I check the version, you can see like I have the BigQuery, Postgres, Redshift, and Snowflake. Okay, so next step is to go to the GitHub. Okay, so go to the GitHub. I'll just log into my GitHub account. So let's create a repository. I'll go and create a repository. Repository name I'll just give learn DBT. Okay. So I'll make it, this is private, and let's add the readme file and create a repository. Okay, so I've created a repository here. You can see, so this is what the repository, that is learn DBT. Okay, so once you have create the repository, okay, so let's go and create, I'll go to the downloads. I'll go and create a new folder. So I'll just give a folder name as here also learn DBT folder. Okay, so I'll just open this folder. Okay, so inside this folder, okay, so let's try to do a git clone, okay, inside this folder. Okay, so what I can do, so I'll just go here. Okay, right now I'm in this I'll just go to the let's go to that particular folder. So what I'll do, so I'll just copy the path, so change directory to this folder. Okay, so right now again I'm in the learn DBT folder. Okay, let's do DBT. Okay, so let's clone. So we are just creating it. So once you have created the repo in the GitHub account, so let's go. Okay, so git clone. So git clone, uh, CLONE. So I'll go here, HTTP. So I'll just copy this. Click on enter. Okay, so it got git cloned. Okay, so if I just do dir here, so you can see, so I have a learn DBT. Okay, so even you can just check it. Okay, so in the downloads, okay, so we have a learn DBT folder. Inside this we have a learn DBT, and we have a git git repository where we have done a git clone. Okay, so now let's get into this. I'll just get into that particular folder, that is change directory to learn DBT. Okay, so right now I'm in a learn DBT. So in the next video, so let's go and connect with the Snowflake account. Okay, fine. So welcome back. So in the previous video, we are landed into this particular folder, right? So I'll just show you the folder once again. So we have a learn DBT folder, and so we will learn DBT, and we have this git repository, right? So right now you can see it's even empty over here, right? So now let's try to do init. Okay, so basically dbt will do a dbt init. Okay, so even just if I just try to do dbt init, basically we are installing the dbt under this particular folder. Okay, dbt demo dbt. So you can see, so once I run this dbt init demo dbt, Your new DBT project. So basically how we create a new project in the web UI, right? So similarly, we are creating a new project, that is by using this command, that is DBT init. Okay, so and we are just giving a name over here. Okay, so the project name. So your new DBT project, demo DBT, was created. Okay, so here you can see all the basic details, and right now we are into this. Okay, so if I just try to do dr, you can see so we have a demo DBT here. Okay, so I'll just show you in the folder also. Okay, so demo DBT. Okay, so in the demo DBT we have got all the files which is necessary to create a project. So let's try to open this in the Visual Studio. Okay, so I'll just go here and Visual Studio Code. Okay, so let's go to file, open folder. It's in the downloads, so learn DBT folder, learn DBT, demo DBT. Okay, so basically let's open this entire folder, that is learn DBT itself. Okay, okay, if I try to expand, so you can see, so under the learn DBT. Okay, so this is learn DBT is basically our GitHub, right? So learn DBT. Let's close this. Yeah. Yeah, so we have a learn DBT. So under it we have a demo DBT, that are project name, right? So we have a different folders here like analysis. Okay, so next we have something called data. Okay, so then we have macros. We have models. Okay, so there are some sample models like my first DBT model, my second DBT models. Then we have a snapshots. Then we have a test. Okay, and we have something called dbt project.ml file. Okay, so and we have a readme that is from the our GitHub, right? So this is how we create a project, okay, using the command line. Okay, so I hope you have understood. So let's get into more detail. Okay, so how to set up the profile in the next video. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in a previous video we have created a DBT project, right? So we have created DBT project with help of DBT init and project name, right? So we have created a project. So even I have shown you the folders, right? These are the different folders we have, right? So the project name is demo DBT, and this is the required files to create the project. So more importantly, we'll discuss about the DBT project. Okay, if I try to open this DBT project, so here we need to configure this particular ML file. So here first we have a name. Okay, so you can see, so name your project name should contain only lowercase. Okay, so I'll just give here as demo DBT. Okay, so whatever the changes you're making here, okay, so same change you need to make it here also. Demo underscore DBT. Okay, so demo DBT, demo underscore DBT, fine. So and here yeah, so first we need to give the project name, that is I have given the project name as demo DBT and the version, and next is profile. Okay, so this setting configures which profile DBT use for this project. So here the name is default. Okay, so where you can find this profile, actually the profile is found under this learn DBT environment which we have created. Okay, so this is my path. Okay, in your systems it could be a different path, okay, depending upon your requirement, your environment. So I have a users. So inside the user I have Imran. Okay, so we have Anaconda. I'm using Anaconda Navigator, right? So I have Anaconda Navigator 3. Next we have environments. Okay, so I have created an environment called learn DBT. So inside the library I have a site packages. Inside the site packages have a .dbt, then include, and inside this we have something called BigQuery. This is a profile, and inside it we have something called sample profiles. Okay, so if I just try to open this, okay, so this is what the profile you can see. So here we have profile. Okay, so default this is the profile ML file. Okay, so we have this is what the default it is referring to. Okay, so whatever the default you are seeing here, profile as default. Okay, this is what the default it is referring to, and the output would be the two different targets here. So one would be a BigQuery. Okay, so this is an example outline. Okay, so If I want to connect with the BigQuery, this is what the necessary environment requirement which is required to connect with the BigQuery, right? So if I just change the target to the div, okay, it will move to the div. Okay, this is what the connection strings. And if I want to move to the prod, this is, if I just change the prod, it will move to this particular this. Okay, right now I will be using one. Okay, so what I'll do, so if I just try to change the documentation, okay, so if I just get into this Snowflake profile, so this is what the profile look like. Okay, so DBT profiles ML. Okay, so if I just go here under the DBT, include Snowflake sample profiles. Okay, we have a sample profile for everything. Startup project. Inside the startup project, this is what the entire startup project is. Uh, okay, this is for the Snowflake and this is for the sample profile. Fine. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just change this. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just go to the documentation. This is what the profiles I need. I'll just copy this. I'll go here. I'll paste it. Okay. So here, so right now it is my Snowflake DB. So right, so I'll just make this as Snowflake. Okay. So here inside it, I'll just change the profile now to Snowflake. Okay. So next, the target. So right now I have here div. Okay, so output. Okay, so type is Snowflake. Okay, so next is I need to give the account ID. So I have just logged into my Snowflake. You can see this is my Snowflake account. So this is my account ID is basically this from here to till my AWS. So I'll just give the account ID. So this is the username. So my username is, okay, so this is my username. So you can just access the username here. Okay, so this is my username. Password I'll just set, okay, once I end this video. So next I'll need to give the role. Okay, so role I'll just give the account admin. So role I'll just give account admin. So from where you can access that. So this is what the account admin. So you can see all the roles here, right? So of course in organization we would have provided the different roles. So this is what the account admin have just given. So next I need to give the database name. So I have one database called learn DBT database. Okay, so learn DBT database. Give the names properly. Okay, so I'll give the database name. So next I have the warehouse. Okay, so for the warehouse I'll just use this compute warehouse. So compute warehouse. WH. Okay, so then schema. So schema I'll give so let's keep it public because in that we have a public. Okay, so let's go and just write the schema as public. PUBLIC public. Okay, so threads, so I can just give 10. Okay, and query tag, I'll just remove this. I'll just comment it out. Okay, fine. So I'll just save this file. I'll save even this. So I've just changed the profile here. You can see the profile is Snowflake. Okay, so I'll just save this also. Okay, so I need to enter the password. Okay, so once I just enter the password, I'll just continue in the next video. Okay, so I have just updated the password and saved both the files. Okay, so I was under the learn dbt, right? So let's I've just moved on to the learn dbt folder. Okay, so where inside all my files I have, right? So I'll just do dbt debug. So my connection is setting okay. Okay, but I'm getting some error, that is dbt project.ml file is not found. Dbt project.ml, dbt project.ml. So let's see the path properly. So if I just go to the downloads, so I have learn dbt. Inside the learn dbt I have this demo dbt. Inside the demo dbt I have all these files, right? So okay, learn dbt, then change directory to learn dbt, then demo dbt, then change directory to the demo dbt. Okay, so now let's try to run this once again, that is dbt debug. Yeah, so you can see, so all check passed. So my profiles.ml file got executed and it is okay and valid. And my dbt.ml file, it is okay found and it is valid. Okay, so if I just open this, okay, so so this is the two files, right? So sample profiles, I've just set the profile there itself. Okay, fine. Password, and that's just I've just updated. Fine. Okay, next. So if I just go to here under the models, you can see like we have this first DBT model and the my second DBT model, right? So if I just go to my Snowflake, okay, so we can see this is learn DBT, right? So learn DBT database. We have connection, made the connection with this database. I'll just refresh. If I see the schema here, okay, under the public. Uh, Learn DBT inside the public. Okay, so okay, first we have just debugged. Okay, you can see like I'm not able to access these two files here, right? So what are the two files here? So my first DBT model and my second DBT model is not available here, right? So I'm just wanted to show you that, okay, it's not available. So now let's go and run. Okay, so once you have just done debug, so everything is set now, right? So we have connected with the Git. Okay, we have changed the, we have made the connection with the DBT project, and we have set the profiles and everything. Okay, so you can see all the connections are okay. So now let's go and run. So to run, so just enter DBT run. Yeah, it got completed successfully. So here you can see started with a start table model public dot my first dbt model, then create a table model. Okay, so then I'll explain all this in upcoming video, like what is this first and the second. Okay, first dbt model and second dbt model. It's just the sample models. Okay, so where we are just creating a small tables there. Okay, so if I just try to expand, okay, so here next we have a create model. View model public dot my second dbt model. Okay, so you can see everything got executed. So now if I go to my Snowflake and try to refresh, and in the public, so it should be available. Let's try to refresh. uh, Information schema, not information schema. Okay, so I'll just want to check the connection. I'll go back to my this file. Okay, Simran, my DB. Okay, so okay, fine. So it has been connected. So see, whatever the user. Okay, so I just tried with the other profiles. Okay, so here everything is same. Okay, but I've just changed this database and schema. You can see like now the username is Imran. Same thing. Database I've just chosen my DB. Okay, so I don't have this. I've not chosen this learn DBT database. Okay, so in earlier videos I've just chosen this, but right now I'm just choosing this my DB. If I try to expand, you can see, so here if I try to expand the public, inside the public you can see like I have this table that is my first DBT model. Okay, and my second DBT model under the view. Okay, so even you can just preview the data. It's very just sample data. Okay, so where we have row 1 and 2, and this is the preview. Okay, of view my second DBT model, just we have a one row. Okay, so if you open the code and check it, same thing. Okay, so under the first DBT model, we are just selecting the one and ID. Okay, so the simple code, and this we are making as a view. Okay, so by referring to the my first DBT model. Okay, so this is how we basically connect. Okay, so we have already connected to our profiles. Okay, so there was a slight changes, right? So I've just connected to my DB database. Okay, so everything is set. I hope you understood. If you're finding any difficulty, let me know in the discussion for. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So I just wanted to show you the profiles also. If I just go to the demo DBT, okay, so just go to the local disk drive. Okay, so inside this, if I just go to the your users, okay, my user is Imran. So here also you can just find the profile. This is what the profile is. Okay, so here it's also ML file. Okay, so this is what the profile I've just set. Okay, from here also you can just try to configure with the DBT project. Okay, so now once we have just done. Okay, so now let's try to do the let's push to our GitHub, right? So GitHub account. So if I just try to do git branch. Okay, it's in main. So if I just try to do git status, okay, there are some untracked files. Okay, so let's try to add. So git add. If I just go to my GitHub, okay, okay, so git add. So I just forgot to add git add remote origin and type enter. Git add remote remote did not part any files. ORI. So git add REMOTE origin, and let's copy once again. Remote did not match any files. Okay, I'm in the wrong directory. Fine. So learn DBT is in project. Okay. If I just do git add, git commit my first commit into project. Okay, so everything is set. So I'll just do git push. Okay, so everything got connected. Okay, so if I just try to refresh my GitHub account, so you can see like demo dbt has been created and all the files has been created. Okay, so I hope you have understood. Okay, so now let's move on to the next section. Okay, so in this video, let's discuss about the sources. Okay, so basically sources are nothing but ML files. Okay, so where it help where we'll writing the sources. Okay, from where we need to get the raw data. Okay, so it will be in the form of ML. You can see like it will be under the models. Okay, so then we'll give the file name dot ml. Okay, so here in the documentation you can see sources make it possible to name and describe the data loaded into your warehouse by your extract and load tools by declaring these tables as the sources in the DBT. Okay, so this is so here you can see, so we can just select the source tables in your models using this is what the Jinja template is. Okay, so we have sources function. Okay, so helping define the lineage of your data and test your assumptions about your about your source data and calculate the freshness of the source data. Okay, so this is what the source template is. So if I just go to my folder, okay, so here inside the models, okay, so you can see like we have one folder called example. So let's create one more folder. Okay, so I'll just create a folder name as snowflake sample data. Okay, so I've just created a folder called Snowflake sample data. I'll just show you. If I just go to the Snowflake, okay, so here under the Snowflake sample data, so we'll be working with assume like this, like sales. Okay, so if I just preview some of the data, okay, so this is under the some other database like source sample data. Okay, so how can I can make this store sales as a source, okay, for the DBT. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Okay, so this is what the source data is. Okay, so if I just get back here, okay, so first I've just created a folder. So you can see like same way like inside the models we have examples, right? These are the examples. We have a schema which is an ML file, and this is the models which is a SQL files, right? So inside this Snowflake sample data, okay, so first so we need to create a file. Okay, so I'll just create a file called schema.ml file. Okay, so this is schema.ml file inside this Snowflake sample data. Okay, so this is what the pattern also you can just see here. Okay, so under the models we'll get a schema. So I've just created a folder. Inside the folder I'm creating ML file. So basically let's copy the template. Okay, so this is how we declare the source. So I'll just go and copy here. Okay, so here so we have so let's keep it default version 2, and in the sources, okay, so you can see like we have the two sources which is referring. So let's work with one. I'll just remove this. Okay, so under this name I'll just give the source name. So source name I'll give the same as the table name itself. Okay, table name is under the Snowflake sample data, right? So I'll just write Snowflake underscore sample data. Okay, so so here, so this is the basic template. Okay, so if you try to check, okay, so some of the source properties, so along with the source you can just add a description. You can see like we can add the n number of properties here, like we can add the description, database, schema. Okay, so meta tags. Okay, so all the basic details you can just add it. But here just we have, for the learning purpose, we've just kept it simple. Okay, so we have it. So even you can just add a description. Okay, so if I want to add the description, I'll just add description. Let's copy from here. So I need description, database, and schema. Let's just copy these three things. Okay, so inside the description, I'll just write some of the description here. Like sample database provided by Snowflake. So database, I'll give the same database name, that is Snowflake, SAMPLE, sample data. Okay, and the schema, so I'll just give the schema name. So if I just go to the sample data, so this is the schema name, right? So I'll just copy this. Okay, and the tables, table name is store sales. I'll give the same name. Okay, and apart from this, even you can just provide a description here also. Okay, so like if you want to add the description, so you can write details about the sales in store. Okay, so if you want to add the columns, you can just add it. Okay, so let's keep it simple. So I just save this particular file. Okay, so very simple. I'll just revise it what I have done. So inside the models, okay, so I've just created a folder called Snowflake sample data. So inside this, I've just created a schema.ml file where I have just described the source. Okay, inside the source, I've just given the basic properties like what is the name of the source, description, database, schema, and tables, and everything is set. So now I need to create a model. So in DBT, if I'm say creating a model means we are writing a SQL files. Okay, so let's go and create a file name. Okay, so inside the sample data, I'll create a new file, and the new file name I'll just give as Snowflake sample data store store sales sa dot sql. Okay, so here, so let's so this is the model. I've just created a file, that SQL file. This is basically model, so let's create it here. So with source, so here you need to give the proper name, source source underscore store underscore sales. Okay, with source as this, as okay, so here you can see, so how we can just use the source in the documentation also. So here we are selecting the source. How we are selecting? So once a source has been defined, it can be referred as a model using this. Okay, so even I'll just open this. Okay, so you can see select star from. So I need to give the source and then provide the source name and the table name. Okay, so let's try to add that. So select. So select star from. So let's copy the same thing, and it will be easy for. Okay, so let's copy. So let's change the only the parameters here. Okay, so here the source name I'll just give. So what is the source name we have defined? The source name we have defined the ML, right? So what is the source name? Snowflake sample data, right? So I'll just change this to, I'll copy from here itself so that I'll not do any mistakes. Okay, so this is the source, and what is the table name? Okay, so if you see, the table name is store sales. Okay, so now let's do so I can do select. So let's add final as select star uh, from source store sales. Okay, and let's run this, that is select star from final. Okay, so I've just defined, so let's save this. Okay, so I have created the model. Okay, so let's run this in the next video. Okay, so let's run this DBT run. So here a syntax error. Okay, so let's go and fix this. Okay, so I forgot that comma here. So let's try to run once again. Yeah, so you got, so I just made a mistake, just try to add comma here because I'm doing select start from final. Okay, so here you can see, so completed successfully. So if I just go to my Snowflake, okay, so let's refresh everything. Okay, so I just close it. This is my DB. So inside the my DB, so we have schema, you can see, so we have this Snowflake sample data. Okay, so if I just try to do preview data, you can see, so I'm getting the data. Okay, so so this is how, so it was under the Snowflake sample data under the this. Okay, so we have made this data as a source inside this Snowflake sample data inside my database. Okay, so this is how you add the sources. Okay, so inside your DBT project. Okay, so in this video, let's try to understand how does DBT actually compiles query, right? So here you can see, so we created a schema, that's the ML file, right? So where we have given the name, description, database, and schema name, and even the table name. And with help of this, we create a model, right? So stay with the select statements, where we are providing the sample Snowflake sample data and the store sales. Okay, so but here how it does compile, you can see, so DBT compile generates the executable SQL from the source model. That is what the source here, right? So we inside the models we have this SQL files. Basically it will compile that. Okay, so DBT compiles, generates the executable the SQL source model files. You can find this compiled SQL files inside the target folder. Okay, so if I just go here, so once you run this particular project, okay, that is dbt run, so this, it will compile and it will store in the targets. Where is targets? If you just see here, targets, inside the target we have compiled. Here you can see, so inside the Snowflake sample data we have this compiled file. If I just try to open this, you can see it has been replaced. Okay, so whatever you have written, okay, in terms of Jinja template, it has been replaced. That is select star from Snowflake sample data. So here if you observe, okay, so so you can see even the source source and the table name, okay, and the table has been replaced in the compiled file, right? So this is how basically you do it. Okay, can see, so here you're just providing the source name and the table name. So in the source in the target, you can see the that particular file, that is, you can see this is the source and the table name. Okay, so this is source store sales. So this is how it's done. So this is what you can see here. So the compile command is useful for, so why it is useful, so it is useful to inspect, right? So it's visually inspecting the compiled outputs of model files. This is because for validating the complex Jinja logic or macro logic. So whatever you're writing, okay, if you want to if you're getting any errors, you can just come to this compiled in the target folder and try to verify that. And manually running the compiled SQL while debugging model or schema is often useful to execute underlining select statement to find the source of a bug, right? So we can find the bugs. And compiling analysis files, read more. Okay, so this is okay, so this is how DBT actually compiles the queries. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video, let's see how we can just deploy custom schema and override these DBT defaults. Okay, so if I get into my Visual Studio Code, okay, so in the first project, like we have this my first DBT models. Okay, so inside the first DBT models, you can see we are materializing in the form of tables. Okay, so before that, let's go to the DBT project. And here we have discussed everything, right? So we have seen the profile, how to set the profile, and the source path is models, right? So in the previous video, you have seen how to set the forces and how to create the model. So next is like we'll discuss something about default settings. For example, so in the default setting, that is dbt brush ml file, so we have configured that it should be in the form of view. Okay, so we are materializing the form of view, but we can just override this defaults, okay, in our models with help of this config file. Okay, you can see we have just opened in the form of Jinja template. So we are just providing the config, and we are just changing the parameter like materialized in form of table. For that reason, my first db models will be under the tables, right? Even you can saw in the can see, so inside the tables we have this my first dbt model. So even though we have set the defaults as a view. Okay, so now what about staging? Okay, so here also we can just provide the staging like by giving the comma. Okay, so by giving the staging um okay, so by like for example as the schema. Okay, here also I can just give the schema, not staging, sorry. So I can give the schema. Okay, and I can give a staging. So what is staging? So basically staging is a layer. Okay, so once you have the raw data, okay, the next layer, okay, so where we have the after collecting the raw data, okay, the next layer which we move on our data to the for the transformation is staging, right? So if I want to have the schema as a staging, okay, so we can just type here that schema and mention it as staging. Okay, so we can just we can overwrite it. Okay, so or else, so other ways. Okay, so if I'm not doing this way, so I can go come here and basically I can just type. Okay, so if I just type, this is how we write it. Okay, so can write schema. Okay, and by before running this, okay, by default you saw like everything was under the public, right? So by default it will create the whatever the tables and views we are creating. Okay, it will be by default by public. Why? For example, why? So here you can see under the profiles. Okay, whatever the profile you are setting, so here you can see, so we are schema providing by default is public. Okay, for that reason, so whatever the models you are running, okay, so the tables you are creating, okay, it will be under the public schema. So now we are creating the custom schema, right? So what is the first way? So I took an example of first dbt model. So we can just pass the config file, and here inside the config file I can give the schema. Okay, so where it will create it, or else inside the dbt project where this project we runs. Okay, so here I can just give the schema. Okay, and I can give as a staging. Okay, so if I just try to save this and let's run this. Okay, so if I just go to save plus schema and staging. Okay, so if I just go and run this dbt run. So if I go to my db and refresh once again my db, so here under the public. Okay, so so here, okay, so in the public, okay, so we have something called public staging. Okay, so you can see like we had a public, but I created a custom schema called public staging, but I'm getting here public underscore staging. Why I'm getting this public? I just provided the staging. So why I'm getting, so because, so if you see here in the documentation, okay, so for the custom schema, so you can use the custom schema in DBT to build models in schema other than your target schema. It is important to note that by default, DBT will generate the schema name for the model by concatenating the custom schema to the target schema. So now the custom schema here it is, when you see in the sample profile, the custom schema is public. So basically here I'm just concatenating public underscore staging. Okay, so this is what you can see. So it will generate a schema name for the model by concatenating the custom name to the target name. So we have a custom name and target name. So how to avoid this? So to avoid this, there is a default template. Okay, so it is a macro. Okay, with help of macro we can just do it. So I'll just copy this. Okay, so inside the macros I'll just create a new file. So I'll just give, so generate schema underscore name. Yeah, so we can give the macro name as schema, generate a schema with uh, name dot sql. Okay, so here I'll just paste that template. Okay, so this is where the logic is happening. Okay, so if the custom name schema is none, okay, go with the default schema. Else, this is what. So I'll just remove this, the underscore and the default schema pattern. Okay, so I'll save it. Okay, so now if I just, okay, so once you have just saved, okay, so once you have just saved, what you can do, so let's save these files. Okay, so now if I just go to the so here also we need to change it. So first let's run. Okay, so if I just go here and close everything and refresh, and in that the MyDB you can see I got staging. Okay, so for initially I had the public staging, but with the help of macros I got staging, right? So this is how it's done. So I've in the macros I've just added this file that is generate schema name, that is .sql. So here I've just removed the default one. Okay, so inside documentation also you can just see. So under hood, but your DBT uses the macro called generate schema name. So same name I've just provided. So generate schema name. Okay, to determine the name of schema that the model should be built in, and this is what the code is. Okay, so this is how basically we can give the custom schema. Hello everyone, so welcome back. So in this video, let's see how we can just test, how to test and debug your DBT models. Okay, so here we have different types of test. Okay, so so here if you just read, so tests are basically assertions, okay, you make about your models and other resources in your DBT projects. So when you run the DBT test, so DBT will tell you if each test in your project passes or fail. So for each column we'll give certain test. Okay, so test would be for would be like this, like unique, okay, not null, accepted, and relationships. Okay, first I'll just show you. So if I just go to my VS Code, so here under the uh, models, like first DBT model, so here you can see, so we have return, we can write a test. Yeah, so in the ML file, okay, schema.ml file. So here you can see, so we have writing a model, right? So name, we have writing first DBT model, we have second DBT model. So under this we have a test, something called, so basically it will check whatever the columns we have given, so it will satisfy the unique or unique as well as not null. And here in the second model, that is my second DBT model, whether it will check, okay, whatever the test we are given is unique or not null. Okay, to run this we just give a DBT test. Okay, so here you can see one is failing. So you can see, so what does this mean? So fail one, not null, my first DBT model means it contains a null value inside it. So if I just try to remove this, okay, so in the first DBT model you can see this is my output, right? Select one as ID and union all, and select null as ID. So even you can just check in the here. So if I just try to preview the table, okay, so we have one and one is null values, right? So this is how we run the test, and you will get an output. Okay, so whether all the projects, okay, so all the models got successfully executed, or if you have any failure if you test it. Okay, so you can see like one model getting failed. So you want to, if you remove this, like for example if you just remove this, and if I just save once again and run DBT test. So not null. Okay, so if I just try to filter it, like where, So if I just try to remove the null value and try to filter it, okay, so you can just have a hands-on inside this and you can just check it. Okay, so even in the documentation you can see like we can perform different types of tests. So we have a singular test, okay, a generic test. Okay, so basically a singular test is testing in its simplest form. Okay, so if you write a SQL query that returns a following rows, you can save the queries in .sql file where your test directories. Okay, so next even we have a generic test where basically it is a parameterized query that accepts the arguments. Okay, so this is how some of the examples of a singular test and the generic test, and overall concept remain the same. Okay, so yeah, either we can test for unique values, not null, accepted values, as well as the relationship. Okay, so this is all about the test and how we can just debug the DBT models. Okay, so whenever you're working while designing the warehouses or for the databases, of course, you'll have to standardize in what type you'll store the data, right? So either it could be form of table, view, right? So in the DBT, okay, we have four types of materialization. So you can see, so materialization are strategies for persisting data models in the warehouse. There are four types of materialization built into DBT. Okay, so there are tables, so we can store it as a table, view, incremental, and uh, what ephemeral. Okay, so if I just one second. Okay. So here, so where we can see that. So here you can see, so by default, when I open the DBT project, so you can see here the materialization is set to view. So this I've already explained. Okay, if you want to overwrite it, so basically we'll pass something called a config file where we'll set the materialize to the table, right? So for example, here whatever the projects we have built, okay, so if you want to materialize that into view, okay, you can just do it and pass the values inside it. Okay, so this is what the materialization is. So this is how we configure it. Okay, so add the materialize as a table, or else you can just give the, for example, if I'm just giving the staging. Okay, so in the staging, if I want to materialize with the table, I can just do it. So here in staging schema we have, right? So what I'll do, I'll just go to the here. So here I'll just add so even like if I want to store the example, like for example, I have the schema, right? So example, so I'll just write if I want to set the example, whatever the model we have inside example. So I want to materialize. Okay, already I have read this, right? So if I want to materialize here, I can just change here to table. Okay, so if it will automatically change everything to the table. For example, even for the staging, okay, so we have set the staging, right? So even we can just change that, okay, by providing. So if I just change this to table, already have this example, sorry. So if I want to change this to table, okay, and save it. Okay, already we have saving the table because here we are just giving by default as table, right? Here we can just change as view and it automatically saved inside the view. Okay, so this is what about the materialization is. Okay, so even you can just set some of the schemas. Okay, so for example, we have this staging, right? So inside the staging, if you want to materialize as a table, you can just do that. Okay, so this is what you need to give properly. Okay, for example, if I want to give this is staging, right? So if I give, we have models DBT, I can give staging. Whatever the staging we have created, so there if I want to materialize as view, I can just do it. Okay, we're getting some syntax here. So we have staging, materialize. Under that I need to add the schema. Okay, so let's not change the config files. We will give an error. Okay, so here right now, inside the tables we have the inside the public. Okay, so inside the staging, okay, you can see inside the staging we have a tables as a default. Okay, so we have just saved as default. So this we can just make it as view. Okay, everything we can just make it as view by just passing the parameter as a materialization. That's it. Okay, so here you can just refer this. For example, so by default, DBT models are materialized as a views. Okay, so by default, it is views. Okay, models can be configured with the different materialization by supplying the materialized configuration parameter as shown. So this is the name of project version. So inside the models, I have this my project. So here I have materialized as a table. Okay, so this is how we configure it. Or else other ways we can just directly pass into the file itself, like where I can just give the in the model itself, where I can give the configuration and set the materialized to the table. Okay, so this is how we can do it. And here we have some of the advantages. Okay, what are the advantages, disadvantages of selecting the materialization if you want to select view, tables, or any other method. Okay, in this video let's discuss about the packages. Okay, so let's understand what is packages. Okay, so basically DBT packages are stand-alone DBT projects. Okay, so with models and the macros that tackle a specific problem area. So this comes from the open source. Okay, if you are working with certain project, okay, and many people contribute, okay, different ways, okay, to solve certain projects. Okay, you can just make use of those models in your project also, right? So this is where the packages comes in. So here software engineers frequently modelize code into libraries. These libraries help program operate with the leverage. They can spend more time focusing on their unique business logic and less time implementing the code that someone else already spending the perfect timing. So there are different colleges. Okay, so packages. Okay, so in DBT libraries like this are called packages, and DBT packages are so powerful because they also so many of the analytic problems we encounter shared across the organizations. Here are some of the examples. Okay, so how we can just install these packages. So let's see how we can just do it. Okay, DBT. So here, so how to add the packages in my project. So we need to add packages.ml file to the DBT project. I'll just copy. So I'll just go to the VS Code, and here they have given the condition that it should be same level as DBT project.ml, right? So here we have a DBT projects ML. So inside the same level. So what I'll do. Sorry. So new folder, new file. Okay, you can see packages.ml is on the same file. Okay, so if I want to have some packages, okay, so this is how we add it. Okay, so there's some of the examples of packages, and specify the package you want to add. Okay, so if you just scroll down here, you have it DBT hub. Okay, so from where you can just get all the packages. For example, if I just go to DBT utils, okay, so this is how, so they are telling include the following your packages.ml. So I'll just copy this, I'll paste it here. So let's save this file. So I have added this package to run this. Okay, so we need to run this dbt deps. Okay, so let's go and run dbt deps. You can see installed from the version. Okay, so it got installed. Okay, and to view all this, okay, so it will be under this dbt models. Inside the dbt models, you can see we have installed this dbt utils, and all the packages, necessary packages and necessary components will be present under this dbt utils. Okay, so this is all about the packages. Okay, you can just try to explore depending upon your requirements.